How much does a foreman make an hour? Now, I want you to stay on the video, but I am not going to talk about specific pay ranges except to say I've seen foremen make $35 an hour all the way up to $95 an hour, which sounds crazy. And obviously if you're in some locations in the United States, mainly probably on the West or the East Coast, you're in those higher ranges. Probably you're going to expect $45, $50, $55 an hour, like great amounts. In fact, let me tell you just a quick story. I plan on telling you about this later, but I remember a foreman that was offered to go salary and wouldn't, and sign the deal to where he would actually get his hourly wage and, time and a half or double time if he'd worked overtime, because he made more money than the salary folks. A foreman can make an incredible amount of money. Now that's based on, are you a trade partner or a GC, industrial, commercial, what size project, what region of the country, what's your level of experience. All you got to do is type in ChatGPT the information regarding your role and you can find out how much foremen make. But I'm going to talk about some things that you need to know that will entice you, hopefully, to be a foreman, stay a foreman, or understand whether or not you want to move on from being a foreman. So if you're into that, stay with us on this video. All right, let's go right into some misconceptions. I want to cover these one by one. Foremen just do what they're told. How can they really make that much? Wrong. Foremen are leaders. Foremen are planners. In fact, they're called last planners. Not because they're last in importance, but because they are the last human in the planning cycle that directly affects the projects. The projects rise or fall based on the capability of the foreman or the crew leader, is a more inclusive way to say it. That is not true that they just do what they're told. They are leaders, they are thinkers, they are planners, they are preparers, they are the guide, the North Star for the crew, and they're integral in the last planner system with the superintendent, and they are a leadership position on site. Another one, wage for a foreman is fixed by company policy. I haven't seen that to be true. I've seen some foremen make some money. Like if you are valuable, you're making the company money, you'll make money. Just real quick, I didn't know I was going to do this, but I remember the big dogs at Hensel Phelps, like the really great carpenter foreman or general foreman that knew about form work and laborers and like concrete systems and shoring and scaffolding. They'd fly these folks around the company. They're probably flying business class, probably flying first class sometimes. They got everything that they need. They're making an incredible wage. They got incredible benefits. Do not believe that you're fixed in any way, shape, or form if you perform. The other one is all foremen are paid the same. Not true. You're not paid the same. You're paid based off of performance. And candidly, there are foremen that make more than salary positions. It's pretty remarkable if you think about it. So really great stuff. So you're probably asking the question, like, what is a normal hourly rate by region? I could give you that right now verbally, but I'm telling you, if you don't have ChatGPT by now, get it right now and type in, this is the prompt that I want you to give it. I want to become a foreman for such and such company in this role, at this level, with this much experience, and I want to know the ranges that a foreman could make. Please give me back the information in detail and ask me any questions to further clarify the prompt. And you'll get the answer right away. That's going to answer it for you right away. And this video is about motivation. Number two, how do I negotiate a better salary without jumping companies? Add value, add value, add value, add value, learn, tool in, tool belt, meaning learn these skills, skill by skill, and become so valuable and so influential with people that then you can just ask. And if your company doesn't give you the pay increase that you want, you might have to switch companies. Like for me, just to be candid with you, I'm not proud that I switched companies twice in my career. And it's not Hensel Phelps' problem, but I would have rather just stayed at Hensel Phelps for my entire career. But this industry in the United States, at least, forces you to switch companies to get a pay raise because they're so complacent in giving you the pay raise that you deserve. So you may have to change. But if you're adding value, you can also ask, what skills or what habits lead some foremen to fast track to super roles? Let me tell you, people and organization. Every foreman that I've ever met can build the work and lead people and get it done, right? But the ones that people are like, no, come be a superintendent. They're organized. They have a to-do list. They know how to read drawings. They have good handwriting. They're good with people. They have a professional truck. They look the part. They're not ascribing to garbage behaviors. And they know how to have influence. They know how to deal with people. They know how to talk and write right, that is what will fast track you. Can foremen learn more by learning lean or through scheduling? Let me say that anything you learn, and I'm going to include VDC, I'm going to include lean, I'm going to include sustainability, I'm going to include scheduling, project management, field engineering, as many basics, as many trainings as you can go do it. You will get paid in large measure or in proportion to what you know and implement. And then the other question is, what is more sustainable or beneficial, a larger crew or a more consistent workflow? Unfortunately, I don't think this is how it should be, but when you get bigger and bigger crews, bigger work, bigger scale projects, you're going to make more money. Should it be that way? No. But like, for instance, like a civil crew, you can get really good and get really good crew flow, but there's only so much the industry is willing to pay a pipe foreman, right? But if you're a general foreman on a massive project, like let's say you're on a big data center, you're a concrete crew, you got overseeing multiple massive crews, you get so invaluable that your pay just skyrockets. So let me now talk about the motivation here. First of all, I am jealous that foremen get to work with workers, boots on the ground, and do work. I think doing time studies is interesting. I think organizing full kits is interesting. I think feeding the crew with materials and planning work is interesting. I think being boots on the ground is rewarding. Don't fall for the lie that you have to be in a salary position. You can be one of the best foremen there is out there. And personally, I don't think there's anything that makes superintendent or PM sound higher than a foreman. In the hierarchy of organization, they're higher, but this is a remarkable job. You can make a ton of money. It all comes down to this. Are you constantly learning and improving? Are you sharpening your skills with training? Are you focusing on how to be good with people with books like How to Win Friends and Influence People? Are you espousing organization principles? Are you learning lean systems? Are you curious about how does Paul Akers do his work? How do the Japanese do their work? How can I do work better? How can I learn manufacturing as well? And if you go do that and become an expert where you're so valuable they can't do the job without you, you don't have to worry about how much money you make, but you can research it if you want. So this was more of an enticement video. I love the crew leaders out there, and I will do anything I can to help any of them or you out. Is it worth it? Yes. Or should you be worried about the money you can make? No. You should really focus on doing work smarter so you don't hurt your body, and you should really focus on making sure that you're adding value, and you'll be fine wherever you go. I will turn this into a blog post for you. Reach out to me if you ever need any help. On we go.